Hi guys, I'm Sarah from Hewitt Avenue and I'll be taking you through this lettering guide on the Procreate app. So you should have been able to download your Procreate file into Procreate. I've already loaded it in here. I'm going to show you what layers make up your lettering guide. So if we expand this bottom group that says guides, I'm going to turn everything off. So I'll show you layer by layer. So the bottom layer has a color palette for you guys just for fun that automatically turns on everything in the group. But there's the color palette just for fun. It has some branding for the lettering guide and then guidelines if you want them or not. There is the alphabet for practice, and then there's also some phrases for practice, and you don't need the lines for that one. So those are your two practice pages essentially. So what I recommend doing is, let's say we're going to practice the alphabet and we don't want the guidelines on. So I'm not going to turn, you could use the lines or you could turn those off. And let's grab a black color. So if I double tap anywhere, it'll show me that black color. So I've got my favorite brushes all in one file. So I'm going to grab my Hewitt Avenue flat brush and I'm going to practice on top of this. So first I'm going to tap on this N and turn down the opacity of that layer to make those letters gray. And then you're going to tap on the letter here layer, and that's the layer you're going to work in on top of it so you don't actually destroy that alphabet layer. Okay, so if we zoom in, I am using my flat lettering brush at, if I go to size 40, that's pretty close, but this is 50% is where I actually use the flat lettering brush to make this lettering guide. So let's go through making each individual letter. And I'm gonna speed this part of the video up for you guys so it's a little more fun to watch. Okay guys, so I've sped up this part of the clip so we can get through making these letters more quickly, but I'll talk about this style a little bit here. So most of the letters are capitals, a few of them are lowercase, which gives this a really playful style. There's a few, like the K and the R on that little tail, you'll see it curls up, which keeps it really playful. When I do the next part of the lettering styles, you'll see how I connect some of the letters depending on, how they fit together. Okay, so we finished practicing the alphabet. Let's go ahead and do our phrases. So I chose to keep some really positive phrases for you guys for fun. Now, because these are in color, you're in a letter on top of these, you could just leave it that same opacity, but I'm gonna turn down the opacity just a little bit so it's a little easier to see. A couple different things you could do. So you could create a new layer, and then letter on that one, or you can keep using that letter here layer that I made for you. And if you tap on it once to bring out that slide out menu and tap clear, that'll actually clear what you had on that layer. So first we'll start by, and now on this one, I believe this should be around 40%. You could probably do just a little bit less, more like 35%. For the size of your brush. So this first phrase is "you are enough." I chose to keep a lot of more positive phrases. So a few of these letters connect to give this style some interest. So this R, I'll usually make it connect to the next letter if it makes sense. You'll see that I did that with the E here. And you can just have fun deciding which letters you want to connect. There aren't a ton of opportunities in this style to connect letters, so it kind of adds a little bit of a flair. And you'll see in this word, it's just that R again. So this is the grow as you go. I love this S because this top bowl is really big and the bottom bowl is really small. It just makes it really playful without it being like cartoony or kiddish, if that makes sense. which is a really fun, popular lettering style right now, something that's really playful. Okay, so here I did it with the K to the E to the A, the R to the E, and then the R to the Y actually connects too. But that was more just because the R was getting in the way of where the Y was. So there's that exaggerated top bowl, and the S again, I love that letter. That's one of my favorite letters in this style of the alphabet. So we're going to connect that. Mistakes mean you are trying. And this connects to the tail of the Y. Okay, just a couple more. So this is keep going. I'm always thinking too about what phrases would make a good post for Instagram or inspiration for a post to Instagram. And I think all of these would be great for Instagram posts. That's why I chose these. So they would translate really well into making a cool post for Instagram. The B has that exaggerated upper bowl and then a smaller bowl on the bottom. More practice with the B again. So tracing is a fun way to practice lettering because you're going to feel like, wow, I created that. You know, you really have a good guide to go. To get this style down to memory, I recommend practicing the alphabet, practicing phrases, and then having a little reference guide pulled up of the entire alphabet, and then you trying to do the letters individually without the tracing guide. So it's a fun way to get started. It's kind of a little more mindless where you're developing that muscle memory, getting into a new style and studying the letters. But then eventually you need to pull away your guide, otherwise you're always just tracing. Okay, you guys, so turn this back up. That is your free lettering guide going through lettering this piece together. Again, I am Sarah from Hewitt Avenue. I love teaching you guys lettering, and I hope you found this little tutorial and little letter with me example fun.